the time of this division...
That's terrible.
That's very good. At the time of this, or the factionalism in the colony or in the group, did the relations between the two factions go into everything in the community? I mean, did people not get along well in just day-to-day life as well as in their business dealings?
Well,
you mentioned this with George Allen being attacked.
Yeah. There were 2 or 3 folks here that my parents didn't like, but they didn't try to pass any of that on to me, especially. They tried to but it was just the idea that everything started out so rosy, and then they got to fight.
Sour.
They got sour.
Was there a group that was called the Skunks? Do you remember that phrase being used?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Do you know who they were? Or what?
They happened to be the opposition, but...
From your father's side? Or your father was always with the association?
Yeah.
These were the groups that...
No, they were the groups that were taking them into court, trying to prosecute the invaders, and in a way, those people had a right to their own beliefs, but it's funny how they come to move out here. You know.
As my understanding, the reason that the original people moved out here was because they wanted to live their own life, their own way, and you live your life the way you wanted, and I live my life the way I wanted, and yet they liked to read, they were well educated, they weren't especially ignoramuses, that way. Their favorite pastime was reading and math. All the people I met,
people used to read more than they do now.
They read.
Generally, or you think just here?
No, I think generally.
I know I used to read 2 books a night, and I never read at all anymore. As a child, I used to go to the Seattle Library and get 2 books every night after school and take them back the next night and get 2 more books. I read, that was all I did. And now I never read. Hardly even a newspaper. I get my news out of the television.
Do you remember any of the so-called celebrities that came here? Famous
Oh, I
persons?
understood that Emma Goldman was out here. I don't remember.
And Foster?
Foster, communist in IWW.
Well, he moved along. He died a communist. Died in
He
Russia.
married a woman from here.
Well, wasn't Cora or Jay, one of the 2, related to Foster?
Jay's ex-wife married Foster.
Oh, Jay's ex-wife?
Yeah.
They remained friends after this, I guess.
I guess more or less.
Well, the daughter visited here.
Yeah. The daughter was...
Did these... Well, these people had expressed a number of different, very divergent points of view. Did they tend to gain a following here in the community at all, or was it just that they would come and listen to what they had to say and then go on. I don't mean just the ones we just mentioned, but with Dr. Hazard and all these people.
No, there was some dieting went on here after Dr. Hazard was here. I never saw anyone running around in women's clothes. But it was just the idea that
your mother
would come out here and
raised you
tell about it. They were wanting to listen to him. And
Dr. Children, wasn't it? She raised you.
Oh, well, that's a personal story. I wasn't supposed to live when I was a kid. And we tried a lot of different things. And then we got a hold of Dr. Children from Denver, Stuff Club magazine. And Stuff Club was the human race. And he said, have as much sense as your cat and dog. And if you don't feel good, don't eat. If you feel good, you eat almost anything. If you're working, if you're active. If you're not active, why, go a little light on your eating. It was a very sensible book.
It seems to me.
And it pulled me through, and I still practice some of it. And if anything goes wrong with it.
I
I'm very lucky so far.
out by a diet book written by Dr. Frank McCoy of The Fast Way to Health. And I know history about gals that have saved our lives.
What about religious groups? Were there different religious groups, or was
There
it non-religious?
There were religious groups I'm not too familiar with here. My folks said that you should be very tolerant of other people's beliefs. And you have a perfect right to your own belief, and you should be very tolerant of the other fellow's belief. Because he has a right to what he believes, and as well as you have a right to what you believe. But there never was a church here until the last about 5 years.
Oh, it's been longer than that. 10, 15 years.
Have they had that little group here?
This is the one that you see up.
Well, there's one up on the hill.
And those are offshoots from some other churches.
There's the only one, that's the only one in home. The Lake Bay Church is right over here, you know.
Well, Lake Bay has always had a church over there.
Excuse me. How are relations between home and Lake Bay?
They were, well, that's a mile and a half. And in the old days with the horse and buggy, that was a little trip.
Well, you didn't have roads around here. All you had was
there were mostly logging roads in the old days. But a more conventional group settled in Lake Bay, and they built their church, and there was never any difficulty between home and Lake Bay that I know, especially.
Do you think home was a unique community? Do you think it was really different?
Well, I think it was unique in that they did do a lot of, there were a lot of proud people here. They worked hard.
Their own life. That was the thing. They didn't. They were ahead of their time, I think, in the way that they didn't stick to the old-fashioned Buddhism.
There was an old miner, George Woolsey, who was one of the old-time, you could say an old-time radical who used to be out here. He was single as far as I knew. And, let's see, about 10, 15 years ago, I met him down here by the post office, I think. And he said, hallelujah, this is the millennium. He said, they're paying me to do nothing, and he said, I'm really enjoying it.
They called them, they speak of them as anarchists. But because I only came on the scene in 33, but I met a lot of the old-timers, that ones that were left here. And what I always gathered was they weren't radical. They, excepting, I guess, for their day, it was radical to believe, to live, not to conform to the experience, but to live according to what you thought. That's my impression.
Do you think they were anarchists in any sense?
Well, anarchists, they called themselves
they
anarchists.
call themselves that.
And they said true anarchist is someone who believes in live and let live.
Mm-hmm.
And so that isn't a radical.
Mm-hmm.
Now that is, I think, your and my, as outsiders, estimation of an anarchist are radicals.
Mm-hmm.
But when you talk to them, that wasn't their idea of an anarchist. An anarchist is a person who believes in live and let live. And that definitely wouldn't be a radical.
You
It
think
would be a liberal in our day.
They thought of themselves as anarchists? Or some of them? Or?
I didn't hear many labels around here.
You didn't?
Well, you heard them in the newspapers. And, no, but I mean, they were called anarchists. And they, I know either Joe or that Joe Capella, or your dad or someone told me that a true anarchist is one who believes in live and let live. And that the majority of the people's opinion is that an anarchist is a radical, and that that wasn't so.
How do you account for the notoriety that the place did acquire? Or do you think it had as much notoriety as it seems to?
I think the notoriety came from the free love claims and the new breathing. Those are the things that hit the headlines and
the press.
Appeal to newsmen and reporters.
And it's the press that...
When after those things had come along, there was was it the Haymarket riots in New York or something? When
this was earlier.
A lot of people got killed, and the anarchists were supposed to have been behind it. And the steamboat man who came out here, Ed Morris, knew him real well. He was a nice guy. He didn't live here, but there was a bunch of Tacoma decided there was a bunch of anarchists out here at home, and they were going to come out and clean them up. And they went down and bring them out.
He did. This is right. That he refused to bring us in. This was after McKinley was shot, I think.
Was it after McKinley was shot?
The Haymarket riot was quite a bit earlier.
Oh, it was?
About 15 years or so.
No, I don't anymore. I see it's empty, so I'm satisfied.
Well, the coffee pot is.
No, I know, but the sun's coming around here, and I'm hot enough for that.
Yeah, we'll have to move over in there to get the shade pretty soon. We're right in the sun for a while, and then this all gets for a while. Then this gets shady, and then it gradually gets dull and shady again.
But when I was younger, I did quite a bit of reading on definitions of different.
But I think the publicity they got brought a lot.
As it was explained in the book, was that it was that people were supposed to be smart enough to be able to live without any law or regulations. And
Well,
of
that's
course,
what they were trying to do
people aren't
here.
that perfect. And it's a very it isn't a harmful belief in the way of harming anyone else. Belief, but some of the fellows that got in trouble claimed they were anarchists in the East who got in trouble, and they were dynamiting and one thing and another, and that was...
So that was immediately hooked up to anybody else who called themselves an anarchist.
Did the people that lived in this community feel this, what do I want to say, persecution or something from the outside?
No, not
Didn't bother.
We used to have a baseball team here.
Well, I know.
And the commercial teams from Tacoma used to come out every Sunday, and we used to have dances. And,
the best times I ever had in my life.
We used to stock our team up so we could beat them. And
But that was a later year. But, Lois, there was persecution there for a while, and they all felt it because they had moved out here to live the life as they wanted without interference and have a nice little community. And if, as I understand it, if one had a home to build, everybody pitched to and built their home. And
I think they picked a pretty good spot, don't you?
Beautiful. I certainly
and there was
like to come out here.
There was no road out here, and the only way in was by water. And they came out here to live a nice, quiet life. And then these people come around smoking and butting in and trying to run them and tell them they can do this or they can't do that. This one picture cool off?
Well, no,
so I think that's what persecution and the snoopers, when we ourselves first moved out here in 44. We lived in Seattle and nobody didn't know your next door neighbors. And we moved out here, you get in a small community, everybody knows your business more than you know it yourself, and you'd be surprised at the crazy things that was said. And I've always been one, I've worked, and I'm either in my home or I'm gone. And I don't mingle. So that then you're the brunt of other people's antagonism. And so from my own vision or way of looking at it, I think that's what the cause of a lot of this was merely call it human nature or human jealousy.
Well, some of these people that lived here did write and had newspapers and things. And
they had liberal ideas.
Yeah, and they did publicize, in a way, the community. I was wondering if the ideas that they publicized seemed to be just their own, or those of the community, or what?
Oh, they were pretty much their own. They all, in a very, and just a matter of personal expression, I think.
The house is cooler in here. Just put on the fan.
Put it over there.
Yeah, but put on the fan in the house.
Well, I'll stop here just a few minutes because I've been here a long time.
Well, I hope you have good luck on your...
Well, I find it a fascinating topic, and this, as I say, I've worked on the others more than I have on home. Do you object to the word colony as far as home?
No.
Some people feel that it was not a colony the way the others were. This Ed Lorenz, is your understanding that he refused to bring people over on that?
That was what he told the folks.
I've read this in places like Stuart Holbrook that he stopped them, but I've never seen anywhere else where he stopped them. There was a minister also that apparently talked to them and who wrote a letter to the paper saying this was a peaceful community and that they should leave them alone and so forth. But I didn't quite get what Ed Lorenz's role was, but it was... Now this is...
Well, it was... it's funny that in the 1890s, people were restless the same as they are today. Isn't it odd?
Yes, it is. It's quite a different situation.
The restlessness.
As free love in the community. these people here didn't, some of them didn't think necessarily they had to go to a minister because they didn't have believe in religion. They didn't think that you had to go through a legal ceremony or a religious ceremony to be married. But they lived just as many years. They were as loyal. They were married as far as they were concerned. And if that's free love, I don't agree. I was married the first time. I'm his first wife, but my second husband. And I was married to a minister's son first time. And he'd gamble. If you wouldn't bet on the way he wanted, okay, he'd go the other way. Anything. Gamble, whether the kids had anything or not.
There's no chance.
But here I met a man, and when we separated, I couldn't take any more of it. The minister's wife quoted scripture at me to prove that I was committing a mortal sin if I got a divorce. I should never remarry.
They weren't Catholic either,
No, I belong to the Christian church. And she quoted scripture to proving that if I ever remarried again, I'd be committing a mortal sin. And I said, well, I like married life, and why should I live alone the rest of my life? And Lois and I met and started going together, and we got our divorce.
34th year.
Is that okay?
Yeah, we were married 33 years last June. And around 34. And we started going together in 33. And but I had never gotten a divorce, and I had to get my divorce from that. And anyway, when we got married, we came out home and told the folks and Gran, And Gran said, did you have to marry? She had had an unhappy marriage. Her husband had been a drunkard. And she thought that you had a better chance of happiness without the bond that made it, that it's like tying you down.
Well, have you ever run across the article? It was in a national magazine, an article in Lower Mexico, in a remote area. They cannot have any Mexican very religious people. In that area, they did not have a priest or anyone there. And their families were gathered together without the benefit of marriage. The government came in, the roads came into that area, and the government said, you folks will have to get married. And you know who fought it? The women. They said, well, these bums, if he's not a good guy, I kick him out. If I gotta marry him, I gotta put up with it till I can get rid of him.
Did you know this Lois Weisberger who lived here? Lois Weisberger. She would be earlier, and she was an elderly woman then, but she wrote rather advanced views about sex and marriage, apparently. I haven't read anything that she's written, but I've read about her.
Well, that's an interesting subject even today.
I guess.
It is today.
Well, I'll turn
people have a knack of picking the interesting subjects to get them out of it.
If I understood Mr. Dadisman correctly, the Verity House is a house that is still standing up here?
No, the Verity House isn't standing. The Allen House is still standing.
The Allen House.
The Allen House is still standing.
I'm sure
and it just sold for, I understand, $22,000.
Oh more. Is it? It's right up at the head of the bay?
No, it's just 2 blocks down.
Well, it's not either.
Is it the one?
In the next block. It's this big house right there.
It's
in the middle of the next block.
It's a very well maintained property. Just about a block down here is the one that is the Allen's old place.
It's up on the... It's a White House up...
No, it's on the waterfront.
Okay, well, I'll look...
It's this big house in the middle of the next block right up here.
Yeah, I'll notice it when I go out.
Yellow house. It's real. They have a beautiful yard all fixed up, and they've dug up the dirt on the corner because I think they've kept that corner full of building themselves or something.
Someone says he's having trouble getting a sewer permit.
Getting a sewer permit.
Yeah, I think we were pretty lucky here.
What's he want a sewer permit for?
He's going to build a new house down on the edge
Oh, what
in
is?
the corner where he's dug out.
Oh, Hudson. Hudson's having trouble getting.
Well, we did.
Oh, it's too wet.
No,
From the overflow from the
too
wet.
close to the house and too close to
Is
the
this
bay.
going on?
Yeah. You got your neighbor's sewer problems.
Well,
I understood him to say that the first house across the bridge, a little white house on the left,
Well, that's...
was that the one we're looking at there?
Kansas, yeah,
Crayons?
that's it right
Crayons.
there. Yeah,
And that's not an original.
yeah, that's Crans's original house.
Oh, it was a crayons.
Yeah.
I thought he said Verity, but
Now, Verity's
maybe he
house,
misspoke or I
Verity's
misunderstood.
house, I forget whether it burned down or was torn down.
Verity's... Well, which was the house that was on this place?
Adams.
This is the old
Oh, this was the Adams place.
This is the old Adams place, yeah.
And then what's
We had
this
some
one that
pictures
the
of this
people
place
built?
with all the original fir trees up there.
Oh.
Who is, the people that built was fixing up the wharf. He worked so much, fixed it up, and has the pink trim on it up on one of these back streets. I get lost. I get off the waterfront.
Hawks' old place?
I don't know. Whose place was that? The old house that burned down or something? Huh? That was Deacon Hall.
Well, okay, I'd like you to just tell me what you remember, or tell me about your family and their coming, how they happened to come, and what they did here, what life was
Well,
like.
of course, my dad was came from Lithuania, and his father was a doctor, a dentist, a barber, a horse doctor. He did everything in the little town. And the kids were raised to pretty much follow in their father's footsteps. But when they came to this country, the only examination he could pass was a barber's examination. And the barber trade in his time was a very good trade. He just took his satchel and a horse and buggy and traveled wherever he wanted to and found work. And met my mother in Portland.
Where did he live? In the east, or?
No, he worked on a cattle boat across the ocean, across the Atlantic. And he said they went through a storm and the cattle shit all over everything. He said that was time enough to get off. So he got off in New York. And made application. I guess it was easier to get in the country in those days. And he met my mother in Portland after working his way across the country, barbering, and they came up here and bought 2 acres up on the hill. And that's where I was raised, up there in the hill. But my dad was secretary of the old Mutual Home Association up here, and I went to meetings with him. But like all good things, they got into arguments and fights and one thing and another. I was up there for one meeting. Gee, it scared me. One fellow was Mr. He was a steamship captain. Van Beek. Van Beek was arguing, and my dad thought there was There got to be two groups.
This is about what year?
Oh, this was when I was about 5, 6 years old, and that was about 1907, 1908.
Oh, is that right?
And I never forget my dad told him a horse's ass. They were arguing. I thought my guys were going to have clothes, but they didn't. But they had such beautiful ideals. I was raised to, my folks told me that was our 2 acres up on the hill. And we were supposed to do the best we could and improve it and take care of it, and that was our responsibility. The other property was somebody else's responsibility and was none of our business. And I found that was a good rule to live by in the world. Tend your own business.
And that carried over to the things that people fought?
Well,
or they tried to?
They had a lot of different people. One man came out here in the old days. They used to have a hall up on the hill, and he lectured on that everyone should wear dresses. In fact, he wore a dress.
I can't find
And the folks, oh yeah, that's my dad and my Uncle Joe.
That's Christian. Oh. Your dad seated?
Yeah, my dad's seated. And this is one early picture of the family. But they hit the headlines in Tacoma on free love. But actually, they work so hard out here, and I saw more free love in Seattle than I ever saw out here when I moved to Seattle. But they were reaching for a way of life where nobody bothered anybody else. And I guess all of the different groups like that all got into scraps, and there was a group came over here from the old country. I think it was from Russia, that bathed nude in the old country. And they went further down to the other end of town here on a secluded part of the beach and bathed nude down there. Then the town got a reputation for nude bathing. Well, my early training told me that was their business, and it was not my business. And, no one bothered them here, and they were very good citizens as far as the town is concerned.
They were members of the group or the community.
Some of them were. Adams and the Gaddismans and quite a few others. Like any community club, where certain people are interested in it and other people are not. Well, that's how the Mutual Home Association was run. It was just the people who were interested in maintaining the town.
Back to these new bathers, were they Doukhobors? Somebody said that they were.
No, not true.
They weren't.
I never heard that word around here until I married my wife. She knew of some Doukhobors, but I'm not sure that they. These people were simple.
There was no.
They were hard working.
They believed in live and let live.
And they. They bathed nude in the old country, and they practiced it down here.
Did this incident split the colony wide, or the group wide open in other fields as well, make the factions stronger? Or not?
There were Well, see, that was one of the early difficulties. Colonel J.J. Anderson was the attorney for the local people, and I remember it was quite a joke around here. One of the complainants about the new bed said she stood on the dock and saw this man naked down there. And he said he had white tights on. And the attorney asked her just exactly what she saw, and she couldn't describe it. And so he was not convinced of it. But some of the others were. Some of the others they said they were in the building mood, and I think some of them went to jail. I'm not too sure about that.
For saving you off by yourself, they didn't do it. But I lived in Butte, Montana, and they had a finished bath right across the street. And those Stims went in. They had a public bath, the men and the women and kids, everybody went in for steam baths all in one room. So,
do you think that some of them were exhibitionists?
No. They went that kind of people.
I mean,
we never saw anything like that around here.
It's only in recent years that you've had. When we first moved out here in 44, we could leave our house. We could be gone for 2 months in the winter and never locked our doors. And we had everything we owned in there, plus our daughter's wedding presents when she got married. They were stored there. And we never locked the doors.
And the unhappiness...
Now we can't even, we lock the doors when we're in the house.
And the unhappiness grew, the difference of opinion grew. Mr. Allen, was placed down here that I said just over he was a school teacher, and
his wife was school teacher.
His wife was school teacher. They were my first teachers up here, and he was going home from a dinner. They used to have dinners up at the hall, entertainment, and he went home one night and somebody beat him up here on the corner on the back road. He said if he hadn't been loaded down with his baskets and one thing and another, he said he might have done a little better, but they didn't hurt him too bad. My dad was never bothered. He was a pretty husky little fellow. In fact, that was the only
Your
one.
old albums are, I guess,
Oh, here, you got that.
You've probably seen them with
no,
Ray.
I've seen a little bit.
This is Charlie Gavan, Macy Gavan, and she's still alive in Los Angeles.
Yes, I understand.
This is Jack Adams. Yeah, Jack Adams. This is Nooney Edmonds.
No, this is
That's mine right there, isn't it?
this is what relation is she then to Mrs. Lila Adams? Lila Allen.
She's the ex.
Oh.
She died, and Mr. Edmonds
I
married
see.
Laura.
I see.
Oh, this was Mrs. Adams. What's what?
Well, this is Nooney Edmonds.
Noni
Edmonds.
Oh, well, who was she? What relation to Lila?
She was Harold's mother. Harold Edmonds' mother. Lila wasn't married. This is Frank Worden and Mullins, Tom Mullins.
Now he figured in the leadership of it and the controversy right toward the end.
Yes, more or less. The community kind of split this way and that way, and the originators were trying to maintain the Mutual Home Association, and the others were trying to break it up. And I find old Tom was a politician. He never really set his foot down firmly on any point, but he was a little opposition part of the time. This is
His mother and
this
his
is my mother
grand.
and my grand.
He's part of the new group that came in. That
He had a nice home down here in the waterfront. It's still there, by the way.
Which one?
Alan's place.
Mullen.
Mullen? Ellen, she put on this.
Oh, this is a different Alan.
I see.
These are the new people.
Down here where Rose, where the...
Yeah, that's Tom Warren's place.
Okay, and this is your mother.
And then that's Harry Edmonds. This is Fanny
Minor.
She's Harry Minor. This is Harry Minor here. This is my dad. This is Mrs. Mullins. She was a nice gal. As a kid, I remember. This is Jesse Minor. Harry Minor and his wife. This is the lady who lived on this property.
Oh, Mrs. Adams.
Mrs. Adams.
Oh, this is Mrs. Adams.
That's Mrs. Adams.
They were the old patriarchs, more or less.
Yeah.
They're the
Adams, they were from the Middle West, and they were farmers, and they were real workers. They built a fine home down there. This is Mrs. Allen, my school teacher. George Hill wasn't in this picture. This is me.
Oh,
It's blurred.
This is my grand.
Your grandmother?
Yeah, he's on his grand.
I'm on my grand's lap.
Did she live here?
Yes, she lived up on the hill.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, yeah. Kate Jenner?
No, her sister's name was Kate. Kate never lived here.
No, Kate never lived here.
Grandma Jenna,
Melissa
I don't know what, Melissa was her name. She was his mother's mother. Mrs. Jenna was
Yes, was Mrs. Yeah,
Haiman's mother.
This woman was this man's wife. That's Aunt Nellie.
Oh, is that Aunt Nellie Minor?
Yeah, but her name wasn't Minor. Well, she married after she...
Married Minor, that's later.
The old man grew up in this couple. This is me. And that's really me right there.
Oh.
Lewis's mother and his mother were sharing each other. They were born 6 years apart.
Oh, nice.
Now this school was,
That's
no, I was
the
going
old
to say the new school, but this was 1911 or so that this was built.
This,
I noticed in the paper they're moving to the new school in 1911.
yeah, about 1911. In World War I, we had an enterprising teacher here, and he made up some paper money, some clay money, and we went in business and developed a bunch of little lots here and raised. World War I was raising food. We made a garden out of the back of the schoolyard. Oh, that's Richie Bowles, and that's Harry Minor, and that's this is Nick, and that's Kay Stonehill. There's my boy. This fella is...
Grandpa? I thought it was woman.
I'm not sure who he is. He probably was related to somebody.
When he had to give up his, I said we were moving out.
Quite a few of these
in the
pictures
trailer.
around.
He took quite a few of the pictures out, took some pictures out of his album and snuck in some of the old timers.
Yeah. I, have seen
That's George Jones and George Allen. That's my dad. And this is me. We went up to Mount Rainier one time. And
Here, this is the Edmonds, isn't it?
This is George Allen and Mrs. Allen.
I mean,
oh, this is
Ellen.
considerably later.
Yeah, he had a very good education, if I'm not mistaken. And
Well, this is the Allen family.
this is the Allen family. 1, 2, 3, 4 girls. keg of beer. Richie, and there's my Uncle Jess.
That's his mother's brother.
There's my mother, my Uncle Richard, my grandmother, and my Aunt Kate, my Aunt Cora. Mrs. Van Horn was a friend of my grandmother from Tacoma. My grandmother was a cook. And we lived in Tacoma. This is my Uncle Jess.
Yeah.
He took a picture by sitting at the camera and going back and snapping it with a ball.
That's really something, isn't it?
That is,
Yeah, he got a good picture of the guy. This is Ivy Minor, Bessie Gray, Mastic is what I'm calling. Well, this is Emma Mastic, and this is Nellie Thornhill.
Were the other people over here the Mastics?
No. Oh, yes, they were the Mastic.
Trying to think of? I was curious about the Mastic family.
This couple are the Mastics.
Is this
Ben Mastic.
And Emma?
No, and Nellie.
No. Yeah. Were they, do you know anything about them? Were they from Port Angeles?
I thought they were from the East or Middle West. He was very gentlemanly sort of fellow.
well,
This man,
everything I ever saw of any of
Charlie
them.
Gavan, when I was a kid, lectured me on the fact that a child should speak first to his elders.
Oh, that's
That's unusual. Who was that?
Charlie Gavan.
He was a Southerner.
He was a Southerner. And quite a Southern gentleman in his way. And he was the original editor in town for J. Fox. He ran out of one of the papers. No, this is getting up.
Oh, you've snuck in a few here and there. Yeah, every once in a while you old-timer picture. Like here's an old-time one. There's several of them around here and there.
Uncle just died out here in the woods. They used to pull their own trees and they were pulling a snag and it fell, it swung and went the wrong way. And he dove trying to get away from it and here's Carl Fox. Woody Carroll. This is Louis Green. This is Les Benassi. This is Aunt Rose. This is Thornhill. This is Mrs. Hupel. There's Aunt Nellie again. This is Mrs. Levy. These folks come up on there. That's Mrs. Van Dee. That's the original Mrs. Van Dee.
Is that Henrietta's mother?
Yes, that's Henrietta's mother.
Henrietta Clark. She and her husband had Fluffin. Always visit with them, and they used to come up here every year, but he's 91 now. He lived last year.
And I think this was they have a ladies' club here. I think this was the original ladies' club.
I see, but that's 1935.
Your mother
About
is in that
1935,
one.
yeah.
Your mother was president of the club for about 9 years. Here's a bunch of the old timers.
No, that's George Allen, my dad, and Mr. Levy, and
Not real old.
Harry Edmund.
No, it was before my time.
Before my time. I don't have a Bible, so I have to keep all my information.
Yeah. Well, this is one thing. I was asking on the phone. I was sometimes trying to look up obituaries, just, get background of the people. But your mother died in July 25th, 1949. Your father died
December 1st,
December
1938.
1938.
And Joe died in June of 39.
That was a blow.
Why? That was a...
It was my dad, my mother, and my grand. We were all against the world.
Dad died on December 1st of 38.
We all died.
Gran died when Don was born, our son, on April 12th. And when he was 3 weeks old, Gran died. So she died in May, about the first around May. And Joe died in June. So
Joe.
in 6 months' time, his dad, his Uncle Joe, and his Gran all died.
I came across this name of Joseph Haiman just the other day. I think it's the first time.
He used to own the
lived.
home feed. The home girl.
He built the store down here. He did.
He lived here then all the time. Your father did, or
He wasn't active in the Regional Home Association.
He wasn't at all.
He was in business at the time.
I see.
He had, when I came out, see, I didn't come on the scene until 1933. He lived out in what's called Happy Valley.
And that's out a little bit south.
Well, you go back here to where the house is where they're building, where the telephone company is, and then you go back in there.
I see.
This is the Backery Levine.
Oh, and this is one of the picnics?
Where he helped on the picnics in Los Angeles.
Uh-huh.
They used to have home picnics down in Los Angeles pretty regularly.
Did you attend regularly?
Well, Louis and I went to 46. That was 46. 1946.
August 46. Yeah.
Bill Helton.
No, that's Helton.
Oh,
Helton
Helton.
used to live across the bay. There's
Lehman. Pearl
That's a good bed to have, 40, 50 people?
Well, they used to have 40, 50 people down there.
That was the 46.
I think that's
picnic we ever went to.
all the old pictures I have.
No, you've got a group picture of some of the old timers, Cora and Jay, when we were all over Cora. Honey, this might be the later pictures, not old time pictures. But a bunch of the old timers were there. There's Lou in Denver. Now she was Lula Waltz. She was raised.
I see. She's on.
Now there's Ray and Helen. They were spent their honeymoon up in our tent house. We lived with it and had their meals with it. And here's Al Gross, and Bill Gross is in there, isn't he?
This is Bill Gross. This is Al Gross.
This is Ray. This is she was Van Beek. See, that's Henrietta Clark. She was Henrietta Van Beek. But what I was thinking of over along Cora's lawn, when the whole bunch was. There's Jay.
There's Jay.
I see.
I got some pretty good pictures of Jay.
This over here, is that Eddie Patch? I can't see, my eyes are. No, that's Ed Padgham there.
That's Ed Padgham down there.
I can't. Who's this?
This is Van Tile.
Who is this?
See, I'm upside down.
Oh, that's Henrietta's husband. That's Clark.
That's Peppy.
And this is really great.
Sam. It's different place. There's Henrietta Van Beek. Clark. Now there's the
women.
That's the ladies' club again. And Drew, and this is Aunt Rose still in the club. My mother. As well. And this is, what's her name now?
Clyde?
Oh, Mrs. Clyde. I talked to her the other day.
Yeah.
When did Mrs. Clyde come here?
Oh,
That's what I think she said 1916 now.
Yeah, that's something like that. We took a trip around the country.
Well, that was back through Yellowstone. Our week's trip through Yellowstone.
This is where a business up in
He's 49. Costume. He's a 49.
There's a fishing derby down at Vaughan.
No, it's Glen Cove.
Well, here's a bunch of the old timers. Here's Jack Adams.
This is the son of the
Adams. That's Eddie Halpern.
Who's this one?
Becky.
Becky who?
Becky Beckett.
Becky Beckett, yeah.
Becky
Yeah. Oh gosh, I wrote down. Jack Adams, Becky Beck, Eddie Halpern, Mike Howell. His wife.
His first wife.
Lucy Lang.
Oh, wait, what is that?
It was Lucy Lang. Is she the one that she wrote a book also about Lucy Robbins Lang?
It could be.
And she included.
I'm not well acquainted with her at all.
She apparently didn't live here very long.
No.
And she included a little bit about.
A lot of people came and went here.
Yeah.
As I said, one man tried to convert them to everybody wearing dresses. He said the most helpful dress there was. So they went up and seriously listened to him.
Did he remain here a long time?
No, he just came out and
lectured.
There's one picture that I think should be shown. And nothing.
But they heard him out and away he went.
Did a lot of people attend these lectures when different people came? Did everybody turn out?
There was no TV, there was no radio or anything. There wasn't anything to do but go up to the community hall. And when someone came out, Mrs. Hazard was blues and fasting. She came down here and talked to him on fasting. We had quite a crowd.
There's George Powell.
Yeah. But
the group, we were all over at chorus.
There was
Harold Edmonds.
after being out in the world in Seattle for 20 years and around, there was a darn nice spirit around here.
Here's some of the old timers. Look, here's Ed here's Henrietta, Lou Yates. There's the Peppy, Clark, he's not the old timer. Was what I was saying, Lydia Thornhill. When did the Thornhills come here? Aunt Rose.
There's a good picture. There's a good picture of Jay Fox. It is. Just short of Billy died. I see. Maybe 5 or 6 years ago then.
Now, what year was this? We wrote her down. 1958.
1958.
Party at Eaches, 1958.
A couple of things here. Who is Lydia Thornhill? The name Thornhill.
She was
married
Lydia.
to Cash Thornhill.
I see. Okay. And he was this.
Son of Aunt Rose.
Aunt Rose, yeah. And Rose Thornhill was right down by the dock down there.
Rose Thornhill. Jay Fox, after his years as editor, and he was in all labor groups and so forth early in his life, then what did he do in the remainder of his life? Did he keep these contacts with various people?
Not that I know of, especially.
Very quiet.
Jay was rather quiet. He was
choir-like company, and they used to have games over there. But
have you ever been up to Lake Louise?
Yes.
I had something in mind. Oh, this is what I was looking for. Here, no, where is it? Oh, here, this one. See, I haven't seen
Joe
it.
Capel.
Joe and Annie Capel. He was the one that was in the book I think was stories about having a treehouse.
And he actually lived there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was before he met Annie and was married.
Oh, where was this? Is this behind you?
In Happy Valley back.
Oh, I see. It was back there.
But they just both died this last winter, the winter before. Joe and Annie Capella, they were 2 of our favorite people.
Where did you see them? Mesa Verde National Park.
No, it's close. I'll have to go.
These are crystal ones. I took these myself. These pictures myself. I got
And it was just
just in the evening. I was lucky to get them. And see, they built those clips. They built them for protection.
That's really long and loose. That's the Capitol building in Baton Rouge.
He got shot on the 7th floor here in that Capitol building.
I don't think there's anyone in the last college in there. That's me in front of the old courthouse in Tombstone.
Oh, Jersey. And that's our grandkids and our son. This is the boy that's going to the U now.
Oh,
His wife and son. And that was we sold our business and we started the new album.
When he retired, this album ran out. Just the same time.
See?
These are some of my business cards. And that's the story of selling the business.
Your business portrait.
Yeah. And the end of the beginning of Haiman's at home in Arizona.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But
would you like some coffee? Have you had lunch?
That's one thing I did while I was. When I brought a sandwich. I went over there.
Would you?
I'd like a cup of coffee. That'd be good.
Coffee? Is instant coffee
Fine.
okay?
Just
If
fine.
not, I have percolator
that's just fine.
and coffee. Some people don't like instant
okay.
coffee, and but we ourselves use it all the time. But I have the electric percolator, and I'm kind of split up and divided between 3 trays.
Yeah, I can believe that. Why?
Taylor's in the storeroom.
Why did you think your parents happened to hit on this particular place, and when did?
They were in Portland. They never said especially. They wanted to get out in the country, and they knew some people who moved out here.
Oh.
There were Adamses and Allens and the Verities, and just a few others when folks moved out here. And we put 2 acres up on the hill there, had a beautiful view. But he liked to garden, and when the house burned down here, why, he bought this for, not because of the waterfront, because it was better garden ground.
When did he come?
They came up here, well, let's see, I was born in 1903. They were here, they came here in 1896 or 98, I'm not sure.
So they're among the very first people. Who were the people that he knew that attracted him here?
It could have been...
Were they any of these old families?
It could have been the Allens. That was from Tacoma, I think.
Do you think that the Allens and the Verities and Odells had the idea of starting the kind of a community that this apparently became? Do they have any particular, let's say, goals or ideals they were trying to establish for a community, or do you think that it just, you think they just came out here and settled and then turned out that way?
No, I think they, at least that was my impression. They bought this, they bought 40 acres in here at $5 an acre. And was it $5 an acre or $2 an acre? Yeah, that was the waterfront and the background and everything. And they platted it out. My dad was in on that platting. After they got a few places sold, they platted high. And
Good.
oh, we have to live by certain ideals. And I know I was in business for 20 years up in Port Orchard. And I knew where you could go to get a liquor license. You pay $5,000 to a certain lawyer and you get a liquor license. And there's so much crookedness and things like that. It kind of makes you sick. I didn't like it too well, and I never got rich, but we got a little security.
Well, do you think that the Allens and the others were trying to set up a place then where you could live according to these ideals, or?
Well, yes, they thought that they were very good teachers. I never heard any politics in school or anything like that. And their history and their mathematics and the different things were after the Allens left, I was still going to school here. And the teacher who came out here said we were more advanced than normally. And he advanced us through the 7th grade and put us in the 8th grade from the 6th grade. And we all passed the state examination and graduated.
It was after the Allens left,
Yeah.
did they?
The Allens retired, yeah.
Oh, after they quit teaching. They didn't leave the community.
No, they both died.
What kind of people were the Allens? How would you describe them?
They were she was very hardy pioneer type and a very good woman. Yeah.
George,
And
his side
he
left.
was he did a lot of reading, and I understood he had a very good education.